happening? What's shaking? What's going on? This is Andy coming to you again from here at Andy's World of Bass. Today I want to do a little lesson. This was partially as a request to one of the members of the community here that was asking me about the creative process and how do I compose something from nothing. And it's a really good topic for a lesson, or at least an exchange of suggestions from me to you. One thing that I've always experienced in my creative process is that when I set out to make something new, there's been times where it's like, well, I can't think of anything, right? We want our original music to sound original, but I had to break some habits in order to get to creative places, to get to places where the types of music that I was making didn't sound like everything else. What I realized quite a while ago, and I've always used this method, is that when I play in the pentatonic boxes, I've had to learn to play so much music in rhythm and blues and funk and soul and rock and metal and R&B and just everything, country, that are kind of like this, right? In this kind of pentatonic box tonality, or minor. Everything from, Kool and the Gang to Iron Maiden is using that minor pentatonic scale, right? So if I set out to create something and that's immediately where I go, it's not going to sound that original, because there's been hundreds of thousands of songs that have been constructed using those types of, shapes. Let's just talk about shapes and positions. We won't even talk about analyzing things from a music theory standpoint. This is just a concept idea. So one thing that I found is that if I stay away from the dots, it immediately starts to sound original. Watch this, like if I'm in G. Those kind of changes sounds a lot more hip, a lot more original than the less obvious things. You know what I mean? Half step scenarios where we're going anything where we're getting away from the same types of shapes that we always use in our day-to-day playing of cover songs and things like that. That's how I've found a way to be creative and create music that's my own, that sounds like me. I have 5 albums almost. I have 4 published and 1 that's in the works. And if you listen to most of them, there's a seam, there's threads that run through them that are identifiable to me, and that kind of slightly off-kilter quirkiness of harmony choices and pitch choices is what makes it sound like my music, and in my opinion, what makes it sound original. So I'm just making this stuff up, in real time. Like if that half step away from tonic. Going back and putting in like a real kind of like a familiar and kind of safe major chord every once in a while. And then breaking away into some of that kind of uncharted territory. That's all the safe zone, right? But then go somewhere that creates a little bit of a challenge, you know? You know, something like that. When you have a major tonic, a major tonality, and then going somewhere that's kind of challenging to the ear, that sounds a lot more hip, original, and interesting than going, That's kind of the obvious choice, you know. That's the diatonic that in the major pentatonic scale, that would be the traditional, the thing that would be obvious or could be expected. When we go somewhere that's not expected, that's when it's hip. That's when it's original. You know, you can figure out what it is later, you know, analyze it later. Make the music that you hear. Make the music come out that just sounds right to you. And then later, when it comes time to add, to create an arrangement for it with the other instruments, you can actually go through and, you know, figure out specifically what pitches you're doing and why and how they work. You know, and then you can, you know, translate that information to the other musicians or whatever. But in the beginning, just to be original and just to do something that doesn't sound like everything else that you've already always done before, simply stay away from the dots. Maybe pick a key and then make all your changes, all your different stuff be on the... You know, this worry is paranoia of playing a right or wrong note or being in the right or wrong key and all that. It's really a bunch of bullshit, man. When it comes to writing music, just make the music that you hear that's coming out. Play, you know, in some avant-garde and some outside-the-box places, literally outside-the-box places. That's where the good stuff, that's where the stuff that, you know, is hip will come to you. And that's where you can create an identifiable sound that's your own. That's what's worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. It's just a suggestion. So, yeah, you know, I hope that gives you some creative ideas. You know, when you pick up your instrument and say, I feel like making some music, do some things that you don't always do. And the best way to start is to get out of them boxes, get out of those box patterns, and play, basically utilize the notes that your instincts have been telling you are wrong. Utilize those notes and you'll have something that's hip, all right? All right, friends. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos. Peace.